So, my father was a spy, and my mother a speech therapist. So I'm either very well enunciated or I'm overtly crass. And I'm always looking for your secrets, and I know you have them. My parents loved parties and music. My dad loved liquor, a lot of liquor. And since I couldn't control his alcohol, I'd rearrange his record collection, often by color, sometimes alphabetical order, or theme. I think I did this in some attempt to get order in my life. I imagine he had trouble finding an album when he wanted to listen to it, but if he yelled at me about that, in my memory it just blends with all the other yelling for all the other cleaning up I did. In other words, my order was his chaos. Anyway, back to his albums. I'd stare at that My Fair Lady album cover, the one Al Hirschfeld must have drawn. Gods floating in the clouds, holding Henry Higgins's puppet strings, and Higgins manipulating Eliza Doolittle's strings. I didn't like the idea of anyone's strings being pulled, though I think I was trying to pull my father's strings so he'd behave like a father should. I didn't succeed. And though he is no longer with us, I sometimes feel the tug of his strings on me. Ways to be safe. I'd hide in a closet to get away from the fighting, thinking I could disappear, promising I would never do this to my kids, never be a puppet of my past. Good luck with that. Hard to get away from a family of 8. I wish they would have sold me off like Alfred Doolittle did to Eliza. Once, when I was 13, a tennis pro offered to teach me tennis. He even wrote a letter raising my promise, suggesting I might develop into something substantial, which is really sad because I play now and I'm really fucking good. But I could have been good. Anyway, if I was going to be controlled, let it benefit me. But my parents staunchly refused. I think my mother thought he was going to, fuck me. No one asked me if I wanted a mentor. I was dying to be taught, yearning for someone to recognize my secret talent and draw it out the way Higgins developed the hidden linguistic ability of Eliza Doolittle. Aren't we all looking for our talent to be named and recognized? Transformation, one of the main themes of Shaw's Pygmalion, was dramatized in the play as well as in the making of the play, of the musical. In the first production of the musical, My Fair Lady, the irascible Rex Harrison had his own problems figuring out how to talk-sing because he couldn't actually sing. But Miss Andrews experienced the true Pygmalion struggle. The 19-year-old Julie Andrews wrestled with Eliza's character and couldn't find it. The director, Moss Hart, finally dismissed the entire cast and worked with her into her, shaping her performance and making her into the Julie Andrews we know today. Miss Andrews got her mentor, a director who saw her talent and helped her to find and form it, just the way Higgins did for Eliza. Perhaps only in fairy tales and movie making are we plucked from the crowd and recognized for our innate brilliance. There was no plucking for me. Over the years, I have found a way to see myself as worthy, getting past all my garbage thoughts and letting go of the accumulation of my childhood traumas and stresses. The best things have always come to me when my ego finally surrenders. When I no longer have to have the result, I win. I win when I don't care about winning, but about the flow of the moment. I met the love of my life when I no longer needed to be filled by a relationship. He asked me to marry him when I stopped wanting him to. My book of poetry got accepted after a rough rejection helped me detach from the need for publication. Decades later, another tennis teacher showed up, ostensibly to teach me the inner game of tennis. I've been working with him for a couple of years now. One day on the court, I'm playing tennis, and he's talking in my ear, instructing, and it feels like nagging, and I say, "Stop talking to me so I can concentrate." And he says, "Why are you arguing to keep the game you no longer want?" And he makes me laugh. Another day after a difficult loss in a tournament, in my lesson, I say, I have to face it, I'm never going to get any better. And he says, finally, freedom. Now you can play. My naturally talented self blossoms when I am unobstructed by negative judgments and not worried about the outcome. In the end of Shaw's play, Eliza realizes she doesn't need Higgins and stands up to him. She says, oh, when I think of myself crawling under your feet and being trampled on and called names, when all the time I had only to lift up my finger to be as good as you, I could kick myself. Higgins says, by George, Eliza, I said I'd make a woman of you, and I have. I like you like this. And she says, yes, you turn round and make up to me now that I'm not afraid of you and can do without you. And she leaves. This is where Shaw's play ends. In the film version, she returns only to have Higgins hide behind his hat and say, Eliza, where are my slippers? Shaw's Eliza wouldn't have come back. We can only wonder what the point the film was trying to make. I don't know anybody who is happy fetching someone else's slippers. Like Eliza, I found my backbone, but what is truly profound to me is to be unafraid of winning or losing, and to be in the game simply for the fun of it.